All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs. Welcome to Sharing More Than the Sheets, a podcast to help you and your partner make better financial and lifestyle decisions so that you can both focus on the things that you love. I'm your host, Michael Khouri, financial planner, green thumb, husband, and just dad. Some research came out recently saying that almost 1 in 5 Australians lack financial goals. Now, to me as a financial advisor, I'm not very surprised because I talk to people regularly and they tell me, I would say at least 1 out of 5 times, if not more, that they don't really have any specific goals. They don't have anything they're working towards. And that can pose a bit of an issue because when it comes to money, and I've said this many times before, money is just money. Without goals, without a purpose, without something else there, you can have all the money in the world and you'll never be satisfied. And at the same time, when you have these passions or when you have goals or when you know why you're doing what you're doing, so when there's that purpose, it does amazing things and it just motivates you to work harder and to stay motivated. Now, today I wanted to talk about this point of setting goals, and I wanted to touch on just 3 tips that I can give to those that don't really know where to begin or are struggling to really find something. And the first thing I can say, and this isn't one of the 3 tips, but you can't force these things. If you try to force something like this, you're essentially just going to be coming up with something just for the sake of it. So it is really important to feel what you're, to feel these goals and for them to be something that just comes naturally. It does involve asking you some questions, and this is where it helps. So the first tip I'd like to give is to consider what you are passionate about. So if there are things that you're passionate about, things that give you a sense of pride when they're achieved, or something that just makes you really, really happy, it's so important to consider these things. And it could be something so simple like coin collecting, or doing work for a charity, or a particular cause, or even something as simple as the work that you do. You might just be really passionate about that, but consider all these things and consider what are the things in your life that bring you joy. If money was not an issue, what would you like to do every day of your life? When you do this, it'll help you actually understand more what you should be working towards, because most people think they just need to be working towards money and that these things will just happen. But it needs to be the other way around. When you know what you're working towards and what you want to happen, then working towards it makes it easier. Plus, you'll know when you get there. The second thing is to set goals that you can control. So things that are outside of your control, like the weather, for example, or things that you're not really responsible for, it makes, those particular things aren't really worth setting goals around, because if it's something that you can't really control, or something that you literally cannot have any influence on, you're not going to be able to achieve it, and you're literally setting yourself up for success. So when I say this, the main point I'm trying to make is that your goals shouldn't be dependent on others. They should be dependent on you, because you have control over yourself, but you don't have control over other people. So when you are looking at your goals and looking at things that you can control in your life, like how many hours you work, what you focus your energy on, how much you can save, how much you can do this, how much you can do that. When you do these things, it makes it so much easier because you're more likely to be setting goals that you can achieve. The last thing you want is to work so hard to achieve a goal, but part of that goal relied on something external. And that external thing, whether it's a person or a business or a company or the government, whatever it may be, if things change, then it's going to let you down and it's going to stop you, or it's going to hinder you from achieving your goal. The third one is to imagine your future. Look at the future. Ask yourself, what would you like to be doing in the future? And it goes back to that question that I asked, that if money was not an issue, what would you be doing every day? The other thing as well is, for example, if you're looking at career goals, ask yourself, how much would you like to be earning? Do you want to be self-employed? Do you want to be working for someone? How many hours a week do you want to be doing this particular thing? If it's a financial goal, it's important to understand, where will you be in the future? Are you single at the moment, and are you hoping to have a wife and children in the future? In the future, when you achieve this goal, will the children be older? Would they have moved out of the house by then? Most likely. Knowing these things as well are really important, because if you're setting a goal for 12 months into the future, or one for 15 years into the future, it's going to make a big difference as to how you approach that goal. The other thing about the future is, where are you going to live? Like, if you've always lived in Brisbane, where are you going to be living in the future? Will you still be in the same city? Will you be in another city? Will you be in a different country? So when you imagine these things as well, it's going to really factor into your planning and into your goal setting, so that you can actually really understand, okay, this is what I want. And I can't stress enough that, yes, if you follow these 3 points and come up with some great goals, do not think that your goals are going to stay the same forever, because anyone that's done any goal setting before will tell you that the posts are regularly moving. Your needs will change. Your thought process will change. Your experience in life will change. Today, maybe you want A, B, and C, but in a year or two, you might want X, Y, and Z. It might be completely different. So it is really important to also approach this with an open mind, to regularly assess your goals and to create some accountability around them as well. So I've talked about this so many times, but whether it's a financial advisor, whether it's a friend or a partner or someone, have some accountability. Everybody needs accountability. Everybody. Even the most successful tennis players in the world have coaches. We all need some sort of accountability. Without accountability, things are not done. And you can set these amazing goals that really resonate with you and your partner, potentially, and your family. But without any accountability, fast forward 5 years later, 10 years later, you're probably still going to be in exactly the same position. Yes, you might have a few excuses here and there, but most likely not much is going to change. So today's episode is very short, but I wanted to really just stress these points around these goals. Contact me if there's anything that I can help with. I'm always happy to have a chat. I love the feedback we keep getting on these episodes and the private messages and the emails, so please keep them coming. And feel free to share this with a friend or someone that you think really needs to work on their goal setting, to give them more clarity in their life so that they can do better, be better, and feel better. Thanks for joining us on Sharing More Than the Sheets. Please make sure you subscribe to be updated with future episode releases, and feel free to share this episode with any friends or family that you think it might benefit. Please visit us at sharingmorethanthesheets.com.au to submit questions or requests for future podcast topics. These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au.